I'm the Ghost of Brian, and I watched a movie. Slasher films had pretty much reached a formula by the time The Mutilator hit the screens in early 1985. After a setup tragedy, a bunch of drunk, horny teens head out to some isolated somewhere only to be sequentially eliminated by whatever weapon-wielding madman, lunatic, or more often a hand of vengeance from the past needed them to die. Everyone is separated and blissfully ignorant until the body count becomes just a little too impossible to ignore, and then someone of the virtuous and female persuasion usually meets the now exhausted killer and escapes or takes him out. Sometimes there's a Scooby-Doo reveal, a last gasping threat, or some other shocking twist. Mutilator was written and directed by Buddy Cooper, who apparently didn't direct anything else, and John Douglas, who also didn't direct anything else. Weirdly, none of the actors in this movie went on to do much of anything other than the star, Matt Milter, who allegedly did some voice acting for the English dub of the Pokemon TV show. Did everyone in this movie disappear? Are they alive? Did they ever even exist? Find out the truth, people. The connections here are obvious. The movie opens in ye olde yellow picnic table wallpaper of yesteryear, back when Mom stayed home baking cakes from scratch and icing them with baking powder. Her young scamp of a boy is giving his dad a birthday present in the form of hand-cleaning good old dad's many, many unsecured long guns. Kid, don't do that. Whoa, or that, whoa. Okay, I edited that a little. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit of blame on Daddy for not properly storing them guns. Dad's home. Awkward. Welp, it's time to hide another body. That boy'll learn someday. Doop doop doop. Mutilator's brought to you by Natty Light, apparently. You know what? To each his own. Drink what you like, but I'm fixing this.
Fall break, and here we sit. No plans, nothing to do.
Wait, what the hell's a fall break? You mean Thanksgiving or spring break? What is fall break a thing? Is fall break a thing? Apparently it is. Not when I went to school or where I went to school, but some schools have it. How is it Blondie here on the left didn't get tons of work? He looks like Ted McGinley with Bruce Campbell's jaw. He should have been every 80s movie's jock nemesis. Ed gets a call from somebody with a message to call his father. Someone knows he's at the bar and knows his dad. Ed Sr. wants Jr. to close up his beach house. So our ensemble includes couples Junior and Pam, Sue and Ralph, and Linda and Mike. Now, spoiler alert, this is the setup for our titular mutilator to kill the here assembled body count. The mutilator in question is Ed Sr., shocker, which I only point out now because Junior just described growing up with dear old soon-to-be serial killer dad, making this a pretty convoluted setup for a revenge plot. Why wait until the kid is older and goes to college? Why this facade of a chore that the kid might ignore? Even if Junior does go, surely you'd expect him to bring his friends or girlfriend to the beach. Why add all this extra inconvenience?
Come on. Man, this guy's not convinced we're going anywhere.
They pile into a convertible that has trouble starting. I wonder if that'll come into play. And we drive into the title credit. Fall break. Again. What the hell is this? Oh, and there's a theme song called Fall Break, which 1 is pretty rocking. B should have been performed by Kenny Loggins, and also doesn't sound like the opening soundtrack to a slasher movie.
We're going on now.
A fall break.
Hijinks in the soundtrack continue until we reach our fall break destination location, Big Ed's Beach Party Pad. The kids settle in deja vu. Sea of liquor bottles in the kitchen. Yeah, I remember those days. That same yellow picnic table wallpaper, too. We have some establishing moments showing that Big Ed is a master hunter and fisherman, so he has lots of sharp and dangerous things laying around. A gaff, pyramid sinkers, a missing battle axe.
What went there?
One of my dad's favorite things, his battle axe.
It's not there now.
No
So Chekhov's tackle box aside, the movie cuts to Papa hiding in the shed with the battle axe. So we're going for dramatic irony rather than a mystery revealed toward the climax. You can cancel that first spoiler alert. Here we enter the real doldrums of the movie. Dad is camped out fantasizing about killing Junior, which makes for some crazy imagery, not shown, thank you, and is probably why the movie was threatened with an X rating. It also reveals he could have killed the kid at literally any point in the last decade or two, but maybe it's traditional to kill your kids over fall break, I don't know.
We're going on now.
A ball break!
The couples wander around the property, go to the beach, and have dinner. We watch all of it. It goes on for 15 minutes. They even play Monopoly, being the most metaphorically accurate game they could possibly find. Also, this soundtrack, for an 80s slasher, was this movie supposed to be something else? Mike and Linda head out to the beach and wander into a neighbor's pool house bubble thing. I don't know what this is. As you do. It even has a romantic light setting. Cool. The only thing that makes trespassing better is skinny dipping. Somehow, Big Ed manages to sneak into the pool marshmallow thing, get in the water, and drown Linda without Mike noticing. He then proceeds to carry her body out of the pool, leaving a trail of clothes that lead Mike back to the beach house shed.
A little game, eh?
Ed can then jump out of the closet and murder Mike with a chainsaw thing. What is it, a weed trimmer? Wikipedia says it's an outboard motor. Okay, this calls back a scene earlier that I sort of skipped.
Hey, look at this a minute.
That there is some sweet, sweet payoff. Fortunately, our killer knew everyone in the house is going to head out to the beach to find Mike and Linda, allowing him to be super noisy. Not sure how Mike missed that running engine, though. Speaking of the beach, the less than observant remaining cadaver crew runs into a cop on the beach. He builds the drama slightly, and then goes back to the beach house to look around and get murdered. Super murdered. Sorry, beach cop, don't feel bad. Nobody in this movie has any peripheral vision. Our remaining pair of couples return to the beach house and decide to play blind man's bluff, which, if you're not 13, is hide and seek in the dark. After all, we need to give Big Ed every possible advantage. Clearly, this is how the next murder will happen. Then why are we playing blind man's bluff? Eventually, after many minutes of watching people wander aimlessly in the dark, Ed fails to kill anyone and leaves. So that was a waste of time, and everyone else goes to bed. Pammy reveals she still shops at Virgins R Us, so she's now our final girl. Next door, Sue talks Ralph into going to look for the lost lovers again. As an aside, no one should ever expect me to get out of bed to go look for them. I needs my beauty sleep.
At least make sure they're all right. And, I've got something to show you when you get back.
Whoa, Lord. Goodness gracious. Yeah.
I didn't edit that, by the way. That's straight from the movie. Ralph comes to the obvious conclusion that Mike and Linda are hanging out in that cold, dark shed. And they are. But so is Ed, and Mike falls prey to some pitchfork action to the neck. Sue gets tired of waiting for Ralph, so she heads out to find him. Pam hears something and wakes Junior. They build the world's greatest search party. Pam decides, wisely, that they are taking the GTFO train to somewhere else with more people.
Not leaving.
You've got to come.
Let's take one last look around.
We'll be right back.
One last look.
One last look.
All right. Why don't you two go around this side and I'll go around that side.
Make it fast.
The eye sees much, the mind fails to comprehend.
Yeah. The final couple come round to the shed, which clearly puts out some kind of gravitational death pool, where they find yet to be hung up Susie precariously balanced on the edge of a table, or at least her stunt mannequin, which leads to them revealing the rest of the bodies. Junior locks Pam in a cupboard, finally, so he and Senior can have their moment, and he whacks him with a twig.
This plan can't possibly fail!
Pam's final girl powers kick in and she breaks out and attacks Papa with the pyramid sinker. That there is some sweet, sweet payoff. Then Pam finds a handy fishing knife and is pretty effective with it. Senior, being an insane alcoholic retiree, obviously can survive with a knife to the heart long enough for Pam to untie Junior with the battle axe, no less, and gets us to the final turkey timer pop-up moment to finalize this movie. As with any bona fide 80s slasher, our killer has to have an impossible second wind, whilst the car has to have difficulty starting. Daddams climbs on top of our convertible, and good old reliable Pam gets him off with... Oh, okay, wait. Kids, this is a car cigarette lighter. It plugs into that weird USB power plug in your car. In the olden times, cars were equipped with actual cigarette lighters that used a white-hot bit of metal attached to a flimsy plastic handle so you could light up your Lucky Strike while driving 3 tons of Detroit steel at a mile a minute down the highway. Do they still make Lucky Strikes? I'm getting distracted. Anywho, Pam finally gets the car started. Literally cutting him in half.
I guess I never realized until this moment just how easy it is to accidentally cut someone in half. It is, right?
And the cops are already on the scene.
Well, isn't that convenient?
Oh, and there is an unheard of third wind. Well, second and a half wind. Man, Big Ed has some serious upper body strength. Stay for the end credit goof reel and reprise of that rockin' theme song because that's what makes a slasher film. I mostly love the Mutilator, or Fall Break, even though I never got a Fall Break and there was a real lack of mutilatoring going on. As you'd want from a slasher film, the kills are diverse and sometimes goofy, the location is fine, and the characters mostly rise above annoying, stupid teenagers. I mean, they aren't particularly deep, but the worst of the bunch, Horny Ralph, even has a redemptive moment. It's refreshing that the characters are somewhat likable and interact somewhat believably. Heck, they even worry about and go looking for each other. Although this just raises problems in Big Ed's plan again that he has to luck his way out of. But I didn't hate any of these characters. The script is far from Shakespeare, but it holds its own. Lots of story elements are set up and then pay off. On the other hand, the key plot point of a now senior-aged Ed Sr. suddenly deciding to kill college-aged Junior for something the Junior did as a 12-year-old is pretty ridiculous, especially after Junior obviously lived with him for a huge chunk of his childhood. While this allows us to get some background information on Dad and set up some of the kills, it raises the question, why now? And why kill all his friends and the first cop? The background music is hilarious and all over the place until the end when it just becomes this repetitive creepy theme. The worst, of course, is the pacing. It's awful. There are mountains of padding and the blind man's bluff game that goes nowhere. And we even sit through part of a damn Monopoly game. The 2 random cop kills are just out of nowhere, and Ed must be on some serious crazy meds to be able to spear Beach Cop through the face, decapitate him, and then cut off randomly arriving cop's leg while missing half his body. Bottom line, if you've got an open slot for an 80s slasher flick on your bad movie night, this could be a good fit. You just have to kind of muscle through the laggy bits midway. There's teenage hijinks, crazy kills, that boppin' theme song, and the ridiculous ending, and it's all carried fairly effectively by a flawed but workable plot and script. The crazy car climax is at least worth the wait. The slow bits, though, drag it down to a 4 out of 5. I'm the Ghost of Brian, and I watched a movie. Hey, are you the ghost of the beach cop? That's awesome. Oh, what do you got? A cooler full of... Oh no. What is this going to cost me?